Good morning, Facebook. Beautiful people on salontraining.com's community. We are excited to be here today with Maria Fontana. And I've met Maria, our next guest, about maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years ago now, but never met her in person. And we're going to meet in April. So I know that you guys that know her and in her network absolutely love her. She does so many things on social media, and we're really excited to have her here. So before I jump into our interview with her today, I just want to tell you, if you're new to salontraining.com, it is a directory for the beauty industry. So if you're following here on our page or you see this on YouTube, we highly suggest that you actually go to the website and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free to join. And starting next month, we're going to be giving away new prizes. We have contests in the works that are starting in 2 weeks, which I'm really super excited about. It's a share your color contest, and we have a lot of things in the pipeline for this particular year for this directory. The directory, again, is if you're looking for an educator, a coach, a trainer to help support you in the industry, whether it is haircutting, business, makeup, skincare, whatever, you can go in under trainers and just type in that category and you'll find the people that are in our network. Our network is growing every single week. So if you don't find somebody in the niche that you're looking for at that particular time, stop back in a week, because it's going to continue to grow. Same thing with jobs. There are great job opportunities. If your salon is hiring, make sure that you go in and post that job on salontraining.com and check it out. All right. So talking about overwhelm, we have an important topic to say today. So I am going to go ahead and have Maria, go ahead and tell me about yourself.
Hey guys, how are you? For those of you that don't know me, I'm Maria Fontana. So I am a 3-decade entrepreneur. I've been in the beauty business and other service-based businesses. I have worked behind the chair. I'm an author, best-selling author, life coach, business strategist, and thought leader. And that's a lot to encompass, but that is all that I'm about. So nowadays, what I'm doing, I'm really focusing on helping established service-based entrepreneurs like ourselves, beauty professionals, service-based professionals. I help them grow beyond what they imagine possible, right? And what I'm tapping into right now is personal development, personal growth, tapping into your intuition and your mindset, which I personally grew into this role by working with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, helping them grow their business. And as we were doing that, I found the biggest missing link was really the personal development part, the working on ourselves, which was part of my journey in reinventing myself. So that's where I'm at now. And today we're going to talk about squashing that despicable overwhelm, which we all suffer from, right, Trace?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think all of us do as human beings, whether we want to admit it or not sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I fall off the wagon and I'm very vulnerable online. I share my truth. I share a lot of shit that people are afraid to talk about, but I think this is what's needed. Like, things are not perfect. Crap happens and life happens. I call it the human experience, right? And it's not linear. It's up and down. So what I have learned through my journey of reinventing myself, having to come out of major loss, major depression, major financial destruction, in my life, that to reinvent myself and get my shit back together, I had to really tune in and work on my own stuff. And learning how to manage overwhelm was one of the biggest components. And the second one I would say was learning to really feel good enough, because at the root of everything are initial childhood trauma of some sort. You might not know it or not. Not feeling good enough leads to all these other things that we're constantly chasing our tails.
I know you and I are in a lot of groups together. We follow a lot of the same people, and I feel that they're all kind of saying very similar things. And I've heard people say, "Oh, that's just another person talking about, like, oh, you're mine, you're mine." If you really focus and listen to what people are saying and follow through, it completely changes everything about your life. It changes your relationships at home. It changes your friends, your business, your partner, anything. It can change it. And I am. That we're on the same page a lot of
yes, you're very invested yourself in your own personal growth. And so, guys, what does personal growth mean? For anyone who's like, what the F are you talking about, Maria? Like, I don't understand. Or, if this is annoying you, you should definitely stay and watch, because when we're triggered, it's something we have to work on. So It really means investing in healing your inner stuff that no longer serves us. It means tapping into your intuition and listening to what is truly the right thing for you, and shifting the mindsets, meaning getting rid of beliefs that no longer serve us. But you can read books, you can listen to podcasts, you can follow me on YouTube or anyone else you want, all these amazing gurus. But if you don't actually take intentional action and do one thing a day to move you forward, because action stops anxiety. Taking action stops overwhelm. So it's literally being brave enough to say, I'm going to do one thing today that's going to propel me closer to where I want to feel better.
Can I say a personal thing that happened with someone I know in my family? So I know someone that has a lot of anxiety as well, and they are the opposite of what you're saying in a sense of, well, if I just do it, I'm going to be less anxious. For them, it was the opposite. They get more anxious when they do it. But once they do it, completely what you said happens. They're like, well, that wasn't as scary as I thought. It was scary, but I overcame it. And now I totally get it. Like why people are saying, it's easier to say, just go out and do it. For some people, they can't, but they can if they work through it and try it, and stuff like that. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, and it's really, so when we talk about overwhelm, I have 4 particular pillars that I think are easy for anyone to just jot down some notes. And guys, before I even get into this, I want to remind everybody, be friggin' nice to yourself. Put the invisible bat that you're beating the crap out of yourself with down. I say this all the time, put the bat down and be nice to yourself, because it's a process. Like I didn't get to where I am today in a day. It took me over 22 years, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. And every day till today, I have to constantly work on myself. I have to constantly work on my self-love, nurturing, my routines, and the few things I'm going to share with you now that I constantly implement into my life. Because what do you think? I fall off the wagon. I wake up in a bad friggin' mood too. I want to tell somebody off once in a while, but I have to reel myself back, or I'm like, I start getting overwhelmed. I want to scream at my kids. I want to beat the crap out of my husband. Listen, it's not all peaches and cream. People are like, oh, look, everything's perfect on Facebook. We're all human. But the key is having the tools to control this overwhelm. So how do you feel, Trace, if I share the 4 things that they can implement right away? Start doing it today, but be nice, loving, and gentle with yourself as you're doing this. Don't like start beating yourself up because you're like, well, I did it for a day and then I forgot. Okay, get back on the wagon and just be nice to yourself. Because I will promise you guys, and this is something I learned the hard way, how we speak to ourselves, we get those results. Our body's listening, our cells are listening, and how you speak will create your future. Absolutely. That's the truth. So the first thing I want to say is your environment. How many of you guys are guilty of being in an environment that's not conducive to your well-being? Maybe you don't have a great place to escape in your house. Maybe you need a private office and you don't have that. So it's really, or you're working in a salon that causes you overwhelm and anxiety. Maybe there's too much noise. So the first thing to do is check in with yourself and be like, okay, what in my environment every single day is making me feel overwhelmed? Do you have too much clutter? Do you have too much noise? Are you working in a wrong environment and you're just too afraid to change? I had a client who was working in a typical salon, and I'm not bashing anything, but it was just a typical salon that always had crazy loud like music that was like club music. She had anxiety every day at work. And I said to her, what is it about your day, when she wrote the list, what is it about all your environments that make you feel anxiety? The biggest issue was the music at work. So she asked her boss if she could work on days or if they could change the music on the days that she worked. I said, here's a few different solutions. And there's always solutions, but the solutions are look at your environment and change your environment, right? And it could be something so simple as you may need to get one room in your house and make that your private, I don't know, yoga, meditation, reading room, put a sign outside. You're just like, I had to come into my office today. I said to my husband, my kid's off from school. My dog's a lunatic lab that barks all the time. I go, I'm going to be online. Everyone needs, when the door's shut, they know silence. Those are the boundaries. And that's what I need not to feel overwhelmed. Because otherwise I'd be worrying about the noise, the dog barking, someone, you get where I'm going with this?
Yes.
So it's really honoring yourself and making sure your environment is conducive. And that means too, who you're hanging around with every day, who are you talking to on the phone.
I'm only laughing because and I hate to keep saying myself, but we put our
but that's perfect
and stuff. And I know particularly one of my stressors is when my house is messy. I can deal with anything, like anything that falls in my way most of the time, unless when my house is disorganized, I fall apart mentally. I'm like, So whenever you said just get, my kids are messy, I'm messy, But
so here's an idea. Maybe once a week or twice a week, have someone come in, like your personal assistant, and just have them come in for an hour and just tidy. Again, there's solutions that are not expensive and things like, how can I make myself feel better?
I hired someone the other day just to come help me with laundry because I said, it's been piling up. I'm busy with the show. And it is. So whenever you're able to do that, just find your stressors and take care of it to some
right. And shifting your mindset really means, just because no one ever did that before. Because I mean, that's how I was raised. Oh, we've never done that before. We've always done it this way. Well, it doesn't matter. It's time now. I'm changing the family pattern. And yes, I'm going to have someone tidy my house. Yes, I'm going to have someone walk my dog. Yes, I'm going to have someone cook. I'm just making examples. Whatever can make your life eliminate the overwhelm. So that brings me to number 2, simplify and delete. Simplify. Once a quarter, okay, I sit down and it's in my calendar. I have my old school, even though I have everything online, I have an old school paper calendar, people, that I write everything in, and I schedule an appointment with myself. And that is my simplify and delete appointment once a quarter. And I take notes and I look at what's taking up my time. Where am I spending my time? What's not profit producing and not joy producing? Kind of maybe hanging out with people who are just takers and no longer giving, or you're not aligned with. Maybe too many friggin' Zoom meetings or coffee chats, because that's all popular now, but they really do not serve you at a higher level anymore. You're just saying yes because you feel bad. Any kind of thing, being on the phone with family members or friends who are toxic. Guys, you have to really evaluate and simplify and delete what's not bringing you joy or profits. It really should not be in part of your life. And if you don't do this, you're going to be buried. And then how many of you guys, I want you in the chat right now, who's live or on replay, hashtag live, hashtag replay, give us some love. How many of you guys are doing shit out of obligation? You're overwhelmed because you're so busy, but what is really important in this busyness? So that's number 2, is simplify and delete. And guess what? It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to feel like the bad guy. People might get pissed, but these are healthy boundaries. And the more healthy boundaries we have in business and our personal life, the better we're going to feel, the less overwhelmed we're going to feel. Number 3 is the power of pausing. Simply taking 5-10 minutes to just shut everything off, sit quietly, take a few deep breaths, and connect with your heart center. I'm really big on connecting with your intuition, with your heart center, because that is your truth. That is your GPS, and that will never guide you the wrong way. So taking time to pause. And again, guys, I want to remind you, and I remind you over and over, it takes 21 days to change a habit. So you have to practice this every day. And if you forget, get back on the wagon. Think of it not as a punishment, changing your lifestyle. Think of it not as I have to do this thing. Think of it as nurturing your soul, a gift, almost like You know, when someone says you got to go on a diet, right away you want to eat all the crap that they tell you not to eat. But if you look at it as, no, I'm just nourishing my body in a better way, and I'm going to feel so much better, and I can have the things I still love in moderation. You'll stick to a healthy eating plan. And personal growth is the same thing. So remember the power of the pause. You guys, hashtag live, hashtag replay. Are you here with us? Let us see you live. I want to hear if this resonates with you and what resonates the most about what I'm saying. And fourth, but definitely not last or least, is checking in with your intuition. So I see this every day working with clients. I saw this at a young age. How many times do you say yes to something when it's really a hell no? How many times do you find yourself doing something that you don't want to freaking do because you're doing it out of obligation, out of guilt, out of all these wasted learned behaviors that don't serve you anymore? So before you do anything that'll allow you to get overwhelmed, check in with your gut. You just simply have to put your right hand over your heart, your left hand over your belly, and ask your intuition a question. Don't let your brain get involved. The first feeling you get, because intuition is feeling, it's not thought. That's your truth. And people, sometimes the truth is not what you want to hear. But if you don't listen to it, you're going to feel like crap afterwards, because then you're doing things again out of obligation. You're saying yes when it's no. And if it doesn't feel good, you should not be doing it, because that is your GPS, your soul, your spirit telling you what's right for you. You know, last week I did something drastic. I changed a program. I had created something, and all of a sudden I started to feel unaligned. I felt uncomfortable. My intuition was screaming something was off. I just changed my mind and I changed what I was doing. No questions asked. Because if you do something that's not aligned, that's where overwhelm comes in. So saying yes creates overwhelm. Taking on too many things creates overwhelm. Not honoring ourselves overwhelm. So by taking these 4 simple steps, 4 simple strategies, and really taking a few minutes a day to check in with yourself, you will find your schedule so much more open, so much more fulfilling, and so much more rewarding. Now remember, because you need to leave space for life, because people get sick, kids get sick, things go wrong, people hack people's bank account. Should I go on the negative? Should I keep going? Shit does happen. So if we're so busy that we are like on that last string, like you're like, if one more thing goes wrong, you can't handle it because you're spread too thin. So by having time, by having a little flexibility, and by being in a better state of mind and energy, you will be able to cope and figure out solutions for things that can easily be fixed.
Awesome. I love it. It's easy when you think about it. I mean, not easy. It's a lot of work, but
it's a lot of work.
It's 4 steps basically to squish overwhelm. And you brought up some really valuable points. So thank you. I think,
and again,
and you help salon owners and stylists too. What do you do?
Service-based business owners, salon owners. So when I started my practice, it was strictly business growth. So I would help them expand and grow their businesses. And then as I was working with so many salon owners and service-based business owners, I really found that in the relationship, a lot of it was more the personal development work. So I created Abundance and Clarity in my business, which is the branch of total personal development. So we're working on tapping into their intuition, on growing personally, on really making sure they're shifting their mindset. So they're really like living their life on target to what they want, you know, because so many people think they want to grow their business. Then when they sit down and talk to me, they're not really aligned with what they're doing anymore, or they're not happy with what they're doing. They don't know where to start. So I really want to coin myself at this part of my career as really the expert life coach for entrepreneurs, because it is really about growing the inner stuff to align with the outer stuff, because you're not going to have that success or money. I've had people making high seven figures come to me and they're miserable. They're not aligned. They're not sure. They're not making good choices. They feel like they can't trust their own judgment. They're feeling overwhelmed. They have no motivation. So these are the core things we really work on in the Abundance and Clarity program.
Awesome. And can we talk a little bit about delegation? I know you touched on that too.
Mm,
That was a big part for me in the early careers and other salon owners that I work with and stuff. And they say, you know what, I have to do it myself or it's going to not be right, or I have to do this. But when you start to really realize what is taking your time away that you really
mhm.
could delegate to someone else, that helps people tremendously. Like, can someone else
Yes,
on your team do the order?
right.
Probably. They
Yeah,
just need to be trained properly. Can
right.
someone else be in charge of the bank deposits? Probably, you know.
Yeah.
And I think we, as salon owners, we feel we have to do everything. Can you touch a little bit more on that?
Yeah, and I think that goes back to my simplicity and delete, really simplifying. So in the simplifying, it's really you're also delegating. If you're a leader and you need to create more time for yourself as a CEO, and this is something else I talk about, it's a whole nother topic. It's, are you the CEO? Or are you doing the grunt work? Like, the CEO is the leader. So you really need to outsource um, things that someone else could do, like, here's an example for any of you guys that follow me. You guys would think I'm online on social media like 24/7, but no, I have someone that I create my original content, and then I have someone that does that on my team that, puts it out there for me. Or, you would think it's the same thing. Like, yes, when I was behind the chair, did I think I was the best at coloring? Did I think everyone wanted to come to me? But guess what? The reality was, once I trained someone and passed my clients over to a team, they didn't miss me at all. It was fine. So it really comes down to checking in with your ego and why are you afraid to let go of that control? Because a lot of it is control. Like, so if I let go of that, you're not trusting. And we need to really have more, that's in our mindsets, trusting that things will always go in our best interest, right? And allowing for growth, because you're not going to be able to grow if you don't delegate out. I struggled with babysitters. I was afraid because I was brought up, no one should watch your kids. That was a big struggle for me when my kids were young. But once I got past it, what a relief. I struggled with having someone clean my house because, again, they're all learned behaviors that we were taught by someone else. So these are our limiting beliefs. We go back to that. Your limiting beliefs are what keep you stuck in changing the pattern,
Very
right?
successful people delegate to someone to come clean their house, someone to
Yeah,
delegate. Absolutely. Do you think any
because
successful person does everything? Everybody, that doesn't.
right. And success doesn't mean a number. Success means, well, how do I want to spend my life? So, like, today, if I was trapped in the grunt work, I could not do what I love doing. Like, be here, sharing value with you, Tracy, right? Talking to my peers, talking to my community, sharing my good stuff, because I would be too entangled in doing busy work,
Mhm.
right? Like, I wouldn't have time to make myself an espresso and sit down and relax and do what feels good to me. Go work out. I go swimming every day in a saltwater pool. I couldn't do that. And it sounds like, for any of you who are watching, like, yeah, Maria, but that sounds good for you. You must be rich, or you must be doing well. No, that's not true. You too can create your life the way you want by delegating things that you don't need to do.
Yes.
So, I mean, if anyone needs help with this, I can give you a list there. If you need virtual assistants, there's millions of people who are out there doing this. People can clean your house. Someone can clean your car. Someone can walk your dog. Someone can help you in your salon. Again, doing things that you don't need to be doing. Your team could be supporting your mission if you're a good leader.
I
And this
remember
is
feeling the guilt. You had mentioned this too. Like, I
the
think
guilt.
sometimes, especially as women, and I know men too, but we feel guilt because we have to be the ones that take care of the meals and the housework and the salon and da 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 da. But I
Mhm.
remember someone saying to me, and it made so much sense years ago. She said, "So if you're doing the busy work that you're talking about, and you're behind the chair and you're just doing that, you're just going with the motions of busy, 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 because you think you shouldn't spend money on something else. If you had someone cleaning your, I'm just going to use that one because that's
Yeah.
cleaning your house or your salon, actually, cleaning your salon once a week instead of you staying after on a week to do it. You are legally paying someone to be there per hour. Even if you're paying them commission, you have to legally pay them per hour anyway. There's someone on your team that's probably not busy that can handle that job. And also, she
Mhm.
said, so if you are paying, if you're paying someone else, you're going to be earning more by having someone do
Mhm.
that. So think of about that. If you're going to be paying someone $20 an hour to clean, I don't know, whatever, but you could be making $50 an hour doing a next haircut or training your team to do that. Of course, you got to
Mhm.
look at that. So don't. I think the guilt needs to go away from us. Yeah.
Yes. So guilt is a wasted emotion. And again, all these things, I mean, there's so many layers to this, which I work on one-on-one when people come work with me, in my coaching and consulting programs. There's so many layers to clearing this out. They're just old taught beliefs. They're beliefs that someone else taught us. And here's a quick trick you guys can do. Take a piece of paper and I want you to write down your beliefs on the left side. Like, I'll give you some of mine. Like, I have to do it all myself. Money doesn't grow on trees. I have to work really hard for my money. Entrepreneurship, you're never going to get rich being an entrepreneur. True love really doesn't exist. Now, these are just off the top of my head. These were limiting beliefs that I had that were imprinted in me by my family. Now, I love my family. I love my mother. I loved my father. They were beautiful people, but they had their own core traumas, which imprinted onto me. And if you're in your 40s, 50s, I think our generation, and this is just my personal belief, I think we've got it the worst because a lot of our parents, and I know I'm getting off topic here, but were immigrants or they did come from poverty and they had limiting mindsets, but it wasn't their fault. They did the best they could with what they knew how. So in order to change that, I had to work on myself. So left side is the limiting belief, right side, what's the truth?
Right. That's awesome.
Because then you realize, okay, that's really not true. My truth is not that. It's really not hard to make money. I just believe it is because I was told that. I hear this with salon owners all the time, or stylists, very guilty of this. They're always crying the blues. And guys, don't get mad at me. Don't come at me for this. But instead of looking for a solution, I see a lot of people just wasting hours and hours on Facebook. I see you. And just wasting time, but not actually implementing what you're getting for free. Because there's so much juicy, good, free stuff that if you took just a little bit of all the stuff you really need from the communities you're in, but you implemented them and you actually changed your mindset and you devoted yourself to doing it, I guarantee you would lose the overwhelm, you'd feel good enough, and you'd see freaking results.
That's awesome. That's
And
true.
I'm speaking from my heart because I love every single one. I love you. I love me. I love everybody. But it's really about love yourself enough to dedicate the time to make the changes you want. And when you fall off the wagon, be nice to yourself. Okay, I effed up today. I'm going to, tomorrow's another day.
And no, you are going to fall. That's part of
Yeah,
life.
because we're human.
Yes,
we're
and we
human.
should. I don't know any
We're
successful
human.
person that didn't try like multiple attempts on something. But before
Yeah.
we wrap up here, Maria, today, so I want to just talk about how they can reach out to you so we can put your information, obviously they can go to salontraining.com, type in Maria
Yeah.
and find all of your information in there, as well as you're going to be at the Pennsylvania Beauty Show for those that are.
Yeah, I'm going to be there live, guys. I'll make you laugh. The other day I was talking to someone who has just been an online friend. And she's like, I saw a picture of you. She goes, are you tall? I said, yeah, I'm almost 6 foot. And she was like, holy shit, I thought you were like, people don't have the concept. I'm like, yeah, I'm a big chick when you be, we're like laughing, but I'm excited to be there live. I think, what am I teaching on? I'm teaching, I think, on intuition, and I'm teaching on wealth mindset, which is one of my other passions, on how to really shift into a wealth mindset and become wealthy in a way that aligns with you. How you can connect with me. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, my podcast, The Maria Fontana Show, or just DM me on Messenger on Facebook or mariafontana.com, and everything's there.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for today. And I'll be seeing you in April. And for those of you, again, that need just some encouraging, just follow her Facebook at least. And then you're going to fall in love with her just like we did. So thank you for everything.
Well, I love you guys. I love you very much. And just remember, everyone, be nice to yourself. Be nice to yourself and give yourself some grace, and everything will work out. Follow those 4 tips, clear out everything, and squash that damn overwhelm.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you. Signing off from salontraining.com, and we will talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Bye. Love you.